What's the best way to meditate? Is there a set specific way that we should be meditating? To answer this question, let's go to Guru Nanak Dev Ji. Guru Nanak Dev Ji, within the Mool Mantar, tells us Jap. Jap can be literally translated to meditate. If we look at the way Jap here is spelled, so we've got Jajja, Pappa, Pappe no Onkar. So why is the Onkar there? Because it's telling us to Jap, to meditate on the one. Again, taking us back to Ek. Ek being that there is only but that one. Nirgun Aap, Sargun Pi Ohi. The formless is the one, but even the form is that one. And Guru Nanak Dev Ji is saying to us to meditate on that one. But how? What's the best way to do that? And if we was to answer that question, is there a best way? Well, not really, in the sense of that there's a set way. What Guru Nanak Dev Ji will tell us through this Mool Mantar is that meditation is something that you can fall into when you stop to identify with the false layers that we have created. Those false layers that we've spoke about throughout this Mool Mantar, be that false layer being this body and starting to believe this is what I am. So Guru Nanak Dev Ji is saying that the best way is when you stop identifying with these false layers and you actually start to connect to your core. That is you then falling into meditation. So let's have a look at this, because this is actually an instruction. And why would Guru Nanak Dev Ji instruct us to meditate? Because only when we meditate on that one and we stop to identify with these false layers that have been created, only in that place can we find what is referred to as bliss. Bliss being that absolute stillness, just like Guru Gobind Singh Ji described for us, Achal Murat Anapao Prakash. That's something that is inside of us that is Achal. Chal means something that is moving, but there's something inside of us that is Achal, that is completely still. Just like Guru Sahib Ji tell us that Sun Mandali ek jogi baisa. Inside of us there's this Sun. Sun means this absolute silence. Sun is that place that is beyond the noise of our mind, the thoughts that often torment us and take us into this sense of negativity and bringing about different emotions, be becoming anxious or frustrated or angry. But beneath all of that is this Sun Mandali, Ek Jogi Baisa. Mandali here could be translated to a group of people that sit together. But here we're going to translate Mandali to this realm. There's something inside of us that Guru Sahib Ji is saying, Sun Mandali Ek Jogi Baisa. Ek meaning that one, Jogi meaning a yogi. So it doesn't mean there's an actual little yogi sitting with a posture inside of this body. It's referring to the yogi of all yogis. It's referring to that one, referring to God in the absolute stillness and silence. So jap. Why? Meditate. Why? So that we can actually reach that level of consciousness that every human being has the ability to reach. That place that is just absolute bliss. Very often when we think of this bliss, we still try and think of it or compare it to something that is tangible, something that can be felt, whether that be a sensation within this body, whether that be at the top of our head. yes, that's a part of the journey. It's en route where you can feel and experience these certain sensations and something that's tangible, that when you start to experience that ecstasy, when that door is opening, going and entering into the world of WhyGuru, into the world of that one. But the bliss that the Guru is telling us about, that one is just absolute stillness. It's not this constant dopamine hit that so many of us have started to rely on. That constant high and low, that harkang, that sogang, where there's that one moment is joy based on pleasure. And then to try and go back to its balanced state, from that hit, it goes then even lower. So it's from hark to sog, to that sorrow, to feeling then down. And that's not what is referred to as bliss. That bliss is that sun, is that absolute. So many of us today are trying to reach that, but we're doing it via little steps, thinking I'll get it from this, I'll get it from that, but it's not happening. So actually, that's what we are all seeking for, and that's why meditate. So, but now we're looking at how, and that how to meditate is basically everything that we've been going through in this very Mool Mantar, in this Mantar that is our true origin. When Guru Nanak Dev Ji is telling us that one is Sat, is the truth. So here Guru Nanak Dev Ji is telling us to meditate on that. And what's happening is, many people are just saying the word, are just reading the word. Many people will say, yes, I done my Mool Mantar. Yes, that's a starting point. Just like a child learns how to speak, and that child says that first word. But then there's that development in making a connection to that word, understanding that word, and then using that word to converse, creating this language out of it. But so there's many people that are doing the Mool Mantar, just basically just reading Gurbani, but not necessarily meditating on the words that Guruji have used to describe that one. So how do we meditate on it now? And it could be as simple as just taking that time out and sitting and letting that word sit inside of us. Sit inside of us so deep that you actually start to have a glimpse of the truth. So when you sit there and you say ek, instead of just saying it, now meditate on it. Where you go so deep inside and you start to have a glimpse that actually antar, inside of me, bahar, outside of me, har, prab, eko. There is only that har, prab, that one that is inside and outside of me. Har jan mangal gai. Then the Guru will say to us that nirmal har paya, har gun gaya. When you start to actually experience that, if I think there is anything but that one, that's actually an illusion, because then that would be duality. But the truth is, the Guru is saying to me that Gur Prasadi eko jana, that through the Guru's grace, I come to know that Gur Prasadi eko jana. So, because in the previous video, we spoke about grace, and the Guru bestows that grace on us to tell us this. But that grace then allows us to then seek and go so deep to then start to have this experience that Guru Prasadi eko jane ta duja pao na hui. That actually then there is no love for duja, for anything else, because you start to actually see there isn't anything else. There is only Guru Prasadi Bujya Ja vekhan har ek hai. Wherever I look, actually, there isn't anything but that one. It's when you start going deep into that and you start to realize and see that, then you start to meditate on the Guru's word. Going into then Sat, you come to realize actually that is the truth. That is the only truth, Nam. That the only true entity, Nam here could be translated to entity, the only true entity horned is actually that one. It's not my body, it's not my thoughts, it's not the personality that I thought that was the truth. And in this way, you start falling into meditation, into that Parmeshwar, into WhyGuru. And you continue this way, and you start to go deeper. And then Karta, you start to see that there's somebody else that is in control, that controls the hukam, the law of how everything is working. That takes away that my identity of thinking that I am the one that is making something happen. This then we are falling into meditation, jap. This is how Guru Nanak Dev Ji have shown us. And the Guru Nanak Dev Ji then allows us and takes us to that space and says, go so deep inside that when you come to this and start coming to this realization, why don't you just for a moment remove and put your body aside? Why don't you just remove any of this creation that even exists? And then Guru Nanak Dev Ji is saying, jump on that one, that is Ad Sach. Ad. So you've got Ada, Ade nu Kanna, you've got Daddan, Dadde nu Sihari. The Sahari means from. From. Ad means the beginning. Sach. Sassa Chacha Chachino Onkar. The Onkar meaning the truth. That what has always existed right from the beginning. And then we start to meditate on that. We go so deep inside, come to realize that the true existence of what I am has always existed, has always been there, right from Ad, from the beginning. And then Guru Nanak Dev Ji says that Jugad Sach. Jug can be translated to the ages, or we can translate it to time and space. Meaning, so when the creation came about, when time and space was created, from that moment, that what I am didn't actually change and remained the same. That truth of my existence continued to be what it is, unchanged, even when everything else came, the creation came to make it more relatable. Even when I came into this body, that truth of my existence didn't actually change. So Jugad Sach, because Jug can also be translated to two, meaning when the illusion that what some perceive as duality came into being. And then the Ad, but even at the beginning of that. So when I was given this body, I was still that Sach, still that truth. And when we start to meditate on this, we start to fall into the experience of that one. And then Ha Be Sach. Ha means even now in this very moment. It doesn't mean I've stopped being that. Sach, that truth, that existence is still actually what I am in this moment. And then Nanak Hosi be Sach. Guru Nanak Dev Ji saying Hosi, meaning even that time to come. Be, even then, Sach, you will remain being this truth. Everything else will change. Your body will not remain, but that Sach will continue, and that will always remain. So when we start to meditate on this, on our Mool, on our origin, this then gives birth to the Gur Mantar that Guru Nanak Dev Ji gave us. Because even though here we've translated jap to the umbrella term meditation, but a very specific form of meditation is actually called jap as well, which is the constant recitation of a mantra. And a mantra is what? A mantra is a word that a guru has taken, that is enlightened, and then charges that word with this Shakti, with this power. So the guru charges this word, which then becomes a mantar, and then the guru instills that into the disciple, into the Sikh. And through getting the thirst, jin ko lagi pyas, amrit se khahe, those that then get the thirst through contemplating deeply on the Mool Mantar, and then they use this name. But now this name, it resonates deep inside of us, because to that, what is fearless, nirpo, we are now from this natural ease, we are saying Vah, we're saying wow, and we're saying WhyGuru. Because WhyGuru is then that mantra the Guru charged and gave to their Sikh. But there's that deep relationship between the two. And now it's not empty. And now it's filled with that seeking of wanting to be a part of that Sach that has always existed and is and always will be. So in that way, through the Mool Mantar, we get the thirst to be a part of that one. And through the Gur Mantar, we then start calling out to that one, in awe of that one. We start saying, wow, WhyGuru, WhyGuru. And in this way, Guru Nanak Dev Ji shows us this beautiful way of how to meditate. So let's all come together. Japaman, Satnam, Sada, Satnam. Let's all meditate on, oh my mind, Japaman, meditate on Japaman, Satnam, on that true name. Sada Satnam, constantly on that true name, which is beyond my ego meditating on that what is true and not what is false. WhyGuru Ji Ka Khalsa, WhyGuru Ji Ki Fateh.